Russia's war against Ukraine has cost Moscow over 2,300 troops in the past few days, according to the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. During fighting between Saturday and Monday, Russia's military suffered 2,340 deaths, according to numbers compiled by the Ukrainian Armed Forces that were posted on Facebook. This brings Moscow's total number of troops lost since the beginning of the war, almost 2 years ago, to 360 personnel, by Kyiv's estimate. Ukraine also reported that Russia took a hit to its military arsenal, losing 21 tanks, 34 armored vehicles, and 28 artillery systems over the past 3 days. The exact number of Russian troop deaths is uncertain, and the Kremlin does not provide a running estimate of its own or Ukraine's losses in the war. U.S. intelligence estimated last month that Russia had lost 315,000 troops since the February 2022 invasion of Ukraine, according to Reuters. That number equates to roughly 90% of the total personnel Russia had when it started the war. Washington officials said Reuters' report that Moscow's losses in personnel and weaponry have set back its military modernization by 18 years. British Armed Forces Minister James Heappey estimated that Russia had lost nearly 302,000 military personnel as of November 2023. Speaking with British lawmakers, Heappey said the number of Russian personnel killed serving in Russian private military companies was unclear at the time. On December 30th, the UK's Defence Ministry reported that the average number of Russian losses sustained daily during 2023 had risen by almost 300 troops per day, compared with the same average in 2022. If that number stays consistent, Moscow will have over 500,000 losses in the war by the year 2025, the Defense Ministry said. The increase in daily averages, as reported by the Ukrainian authorities, almost certainly reflects the degradation of Russia's forces, the UK government said at the time of the December report. Ukraine also has not disclosed the number of its troop losses since the war started. However, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said earlier this month that Kyiv lost upward of 215,000 troops in 2023 alone. He also said Ukraine had lost over 28,000 weapons in 12 months of fighting. Media was unable to substantiate the numbers. At the time of Shoigu's comments, the armed forces of Ukraine told media that it does not comment on reports from Russian sources about the losses of Ukrainian troops. Russian forces have made some progress when attacking Ukrainian positions from the flanks, rather than via direct assaults. However, their direct attacks have led to heavy losses, and large-scale offensives cannot be carried out in several directions at the same time, said Cole Ants Kiviselg, commander of the Estonian Defense Forces, EDF, Intelligence Center. Active fighting is taking place in the direction of Luhansk, and several Russian assault units have suffered heavy losses there, said Cole Kiviselg at the Estonian Ministry of Defense's Friday press conference. These losses have resulted in desertions from some units, he added. From a Ukrainian perspective, it is from this direction that a major wave of attacks is expected, though not before late January or early February, by which time the ground will have frozen. At the same time, the concentration of forces in one place means that similar offensive activities are not expected in other directions, as there are simply not enough troops, Cole Kiviselg added. On the Donetsk side, Russian troops are trying to cut through Ukraine's Avdiivka supply lines. It is there too that the Russians have also tried to carry out attacks with armored vehicles. However, have not been successful, the EDF colonel said. However, Russian troops have had some success south of Marinka. The reason for this has been the avoidance of direct attacks, where casualties are high, in favor of attacks from the flanks. This requires well-trained and well-led units. Fortunately, there are not many of them in Russia, but this is one of the few cases, Kolar Kiviselg said. On the eastern bank of the Dnipro River, the bridgeheads set up by Ukraine are still holding, despite continued attacks from Russian forces. However, the freezing of the river means both the Ukrainians and Russians face problems in getting supplies to their troops there. Ukraine uses around 240,000 shells a month, and ammunition shortages are an increasing problem as Russia intensifies attacks on Ukrainian positions on key parts of the front line. A new U.S. aid package has stalled in Congress amid partisan squabbling, and a European Union aid package is being blocked by Hungary. A Ukrainian soldier told media that Ukraine was being outgunned, and Russia also had Soviet-era ammunition reserves to draw on. The ratio is about 10-1. Russia is a country that produces ammo, and they have strategic reserves. Yes, they use old Soviet systems, but Soviet systems can still kill, he said.